delete the video that when you were inside.
The court administrator, turn it off. I'm going to tell you one more time, and then you
What's your name, sir? Arrested for what?
Disorderly conduct.
This is not the United States of America?
Turn it off. The phone's coming out of your hands.
It's not.
Ask you to leave.
There's a lot of government buildings that say you can't record.
There's a chance you could be filming victims of crimes and all that, which they have to protect the victims of crimes.
I just want to know if I'm detained, because I'd like to get out of here.
You're being detained.
I'm still detained. It doesn't work that way. Even if I'm arrested, you still can't go into my phone and erase it.
What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be watching The GOAT. I did not know he had a video out 5 days ago, so I'm catching up on it. So yeah, let's watch his channel, man. He's the GOAT, and let's
Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another installment of Throwback Thursday. Today's audit takes place at the Perrysburg Municipal Courthouse in the state of Ohio, where a court administrator threatens to arrest me and law enforcement attempts to delete my footage from my camera. Let's get into it.
We are immediately greeted with our friendly reminders that the government is always recording us, even though it always seems to be an issue when we, the people, record the government. Thing that talks about the First Amendment. No, ma'am, thank you. I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
We do have a local court rule that we don't allow videoing in the courthouse.
In the courthouse?
Yes.
Where is that rule?
It's if you go to our website, which is perrysburgcourt.com. There, when you're on the homepage, there's a blue box that has some things you can choose from. One of those says local court rules. It'll download I think it's like 75-page PDF of the local court rules, and it will tell you in there. I want to say it's.
And it's not for the courtrooms, it's for the courthouse?
It's for the courthouse.
Why wouldn't that be posted anywhere here?
Because it's on a local court rule, so you can get it on our website. So,
right. What if somebody didn't have access to the internet? You know, how would anybody know? Why wouldn't it be posted, the rule here?
Well, that's why we come out and tell people that.
Right.
That they're not permitted to video in the courthouse.
Is that a rule that the city?
I feel bad because this is the first lady of the video. But she's going to be so wrong.
Implemented?
That would be a rule that the court or the judge implemented. The city doesn't handle the court. The court is run by the judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just my opinion that rule's for anti-transparency. What's the purpose of the rule?
That was not my rule. That's something you would have to ask the judge about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Another thing is she's saying it so confidently because she's probably like, oh, it's just another person. I'm going to tell him not to record. He's not going to record. But she does not know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to continue. I'm an independent journalist. What was your name?
I'm Carrie.
Carrie, my name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. Yeah, I'm just taking some pictures and video of the publicly accessible areas. I don't want to go in the courtroom or anything like that. Okay. So I understand that there's some rule, but I'm just going to continue exercising my rights.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the court bailiff comes up, then he'll handle it with you as well. But yes, that is one of our local court rules. If you want, I can print out the local court rules for you so you can see them.
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Bro, like, imagine if you were in the hood, right? And somebody's coming and they're like, what? Oh, bro, you wearing the wrong color? You know, the homie's going to come and handle you. Like, it just sounds aggressive. Just sounds super aggressive. So, just saying. Oh, this guy's super aggressive.
Who are you?
To record in here.
Who are you, sir?
I'm the court administrator. Turn it off.
I just want to know who you are. What's your name?
Turn it off.
Do you see the difference between you and the woman that just came out here?
I'm going to tell you one more time, and then you.
What's your name, sir? Arrested for what?
Disorderly conduct, obstructing official business.
I'm not obstructing anything. This is my First Amendment right. You're not even a law enforcement officer, sir.
You don't have a First Amendment right in this building.
Of course I do.
You're not allowed to.
This is not the United States of America?
Turn it off.
Are you a law enforcement officer, sir?
Yes.
You are a law enforcement officer? So you can effect arrests?
Yes. Turn it off.
I would like to speak to the bailiff downstairs. I'd like to speak to an actual law enforcement officer.
I'm the court administrator, and I'm also a law enforcement officer.
How are you a law enforcement officer and a court administrator?
Why does that concern you?
Because impersonating a law enforcement officer is a crime, sir.
Then you can go file charges against me. I'm a law enforcement officer. Why are you filming in the building?
That probably would have been your first question that you could have asked me instead of coming to me so aggressively. What's your name, sir?
Scott.
Scott, my name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. All I'm doing
You're not allowed to record.
I would tell him that I don't believe him and I don't see a badge anywhere.
In this building. It's a local court rule.
And the clerk is getting me the rule so I can look at it. There is no signage, Scott. There is no
turn your phone
signage.
off.
There is no
Damn.
signage that is posted here for me to know. So she's getting me the court rule so I can look at it and be aware. I need to be advised of the. But I need to be advised of the rule and see the
You can tell these people have never been told no.
rule. I just want to read the rule.
You do not.
You
Yes,
do
you
not
have
want to
be
read
made
it.
aware of the rule. This is not a
I'm
crime.
telling you what the rule is.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Right
Okay, how
now.
about you?
Turn it off.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to de-escalate. There's no law being
I don't
broken
care
here.
what you would like me to do.
Okay, so
I'm
why should I care what you
repeatedly
like?
asking you
She's
because
getting me
it's
the
a local
rule.
court
She's
rule.
getting me the court rule to read.
Okay, listen.
Okay, the phone's coming out of your hands.
It's not. That would be a violation of my rights.
Bro, this guy is fucking dangerous, dude.
You have no. I'm not breaking any laws, sir. Why would the phone come out of my hand?
Let me ask you something. What's your business here today?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask some questions to the clerk, and I'm an independent journalist. I explained to. All right, guys. So unfortunately, my camera malfunctioned and stopped the recording.
Aw,
I didn't
what?
notice at first because I'm looking directly at the person I'm talking to, not my camera. When I did notice, I immediately began recording again. I take full responsibility. I should have had my body camera on me. I won't make this mistake again. The missing footage only contains more of me being polite and asserting my constitutional rights to the court administrator, who had been hostile with me from the start.
Oh,
no
yeah,
one's asked
bro.
me to leave.
No, Scott's asking.
I just did a minute ago.
No, you did not. You said to turn off the phone. Can I, ma'am, can I see the rules?
You can get online.
Oh, fuck.
I missed the chance to see the rules? Are you kidding
Before we
me?
get this figured out, I'm going to ask you to leave, okay?
All right, I'll wait for the PD. That's the first time. I want to make it clear. The first time someone's asked me to leave. You told me a million times to turn off the phone.
You didn't listen.
Sorry, ma'am. It's absolutely ridiculous the way you guys are acting today. Really. Especially you, Scott.
I don't really care.
All right,
Think
that's
this
fine.
is ridiculous.
Fuck, this guy is crazy.
All you had to do was shut your phone off.
All you had to do was show me the rules. She printed out the rules.
He's the type of guy that like beats dogs. Watch.
She was very nice to me, and she said, I will show you the rules. And I said, okay, no problem. And she has them printed out. You say, don't show it to him.
No, you missed
Don't
that chance.
show it to him.
She has the rules printed out, and you
could've
don't show it
complied
to
with
him.
that earlier.
What do you mean? I never saw
So my question is, why is he leaving? Why is Sean leaving? Because like, was that not a public area?
the rule.
I don't have to show you the rule.
Hi, ma'am. How are you? I'm going to talk to you outside.
Okay, well, turn off the camera, the recording here.
Yeah, I'm outside. I can record. So I'm just going to go outside and record.
Okay, but you're not stopping the recording now.
But I'm going outside.
I'd be like, no, I'm
They
not.
asked you to stop the recording prior to this.
Right. But that's not. But that wasn't a law. Listen. I want to explain to you outside. So that way, there's no confusion here. Can I get your name and badge number, ma'am?
All right, this is like the first time that I seen Sean exit the building when they said to exit without being physically pushed, because I've seen him be physically pushed where people are just like budging him. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, why is he leaving, bro? I want to know.
Yes, it's Officer Parcel, badge number 91.
Okay, officer. I just want to explain to you exactly. Well, I was there, so I just want to explain to you exactly what happened. So I just went upstairs. I'm an independent journalist. My name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. I was asking questions. A clerk came up to me very nicely, and she said, "Sir, we have a local rule here, not a law, a rule, which judges enforce rules, not law enforcement." So she said, "We have a local rule here that you cannot record." I said, "Is that in the courthouse, or is it itself, or is it in the courtroom? Because some rules say the courtroom, some rules say the courthouse." She said, "It's the courthouse." I said, "Well, would you mind if I take a look at that rule?" She said, "No problem. I'll go print it out for you." That was the interaction. She left. Scott, the court administrator, came out and said, "Turn off your phone." He started escalating the situation, started freaking out. And with me doing nothing wrong, all I said was, "I'm waiting for the rule. I want to see the rule. I need to be advised of the rule." That's why usually when there's no recording in places, they have signage. Due to local rule, blah, 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 you cannot record in here. So I said, "I was waiting for the rule. That's it." So he starts telling me, "Turn off your camera now." He tells the bailiff to take my phone, all these other things. I said, "I have a First Amendment right." He said he was law enforcement. I don't know how a court administrator is law enforcement. something probably you should look into, somebody impersonating law enforcement. He said he was law enforcement. I don't know. But all I said was, I want to see the rule. That's it. The woman comes out very nicely. She says, here's the rules. He says, no, don't give it to him. And then the bailiff says, well, now I'm going to ask you to leave. And that's when you saw me coming down the elevator, and I said, okay, I'll wait for law enforcement outside. That's all that's going on here. There's nothing, I'm not being disorderly, I'm not doing anything unlawful.
Called is they told you need to stop recording, and then when you didn't, they told you that you need to leave.
No. That's why I have it all recorded, ma'am. This is exactly why I record my interactions with government officials. And when I was told to leave, all Scott ever did, the court administrator, would say, turn off your phone. He told the bailiff to take my phone. The bailiff said, I'm not going to take his phone because I don't want to violate his rights. Let's wait for the local PD to come. So I said, okay, let's wait for them. And then the bailiff says, well, you can.
The bailiff was smart. He's like, I can't put hands on anybody. The fucking administrator, how does he not know that the bailiff can't fucking put hands on him? He's going to get somebody in trouble.
Get charged with criminal trespassing. And I said, well, no one's asking me to leave. He's like, well, I'm going to ask you to leave right now. And I said, okay, if you're asking me to leave, I'll wait for PD outside. That's it. I'm not, I travel around the country. I investigate governments. This is what I do. I'm an activist. I work with law enforcement as well on First Amendment rights. If there's a rule, I just wanted to see it. I don't think that was too unreasonable of a request. I don't know if somebody's lying to me or not.
So they should have them posted.
Right.
And I can't tell you right now off the top of my head where they're posted. I know that
no, they're not
posted on our buildings. You can't record inside any of the city buildings, so there should be their own recorded feed.
Did she just say that you cannot record inside any of the city buildings? What the fuck? Sorry.
Technically, where their signs are posted, saying that you can't record like how we have them.
Ma'am, I'm telling you.
Bro, she was like, yeah, they're saying that you can't record. This cop's probably like, what? I'm just going to go check it out because he probably knows that they can record.
Yeah, I was in there and there's no signs. And then when I'm asking the court administrator, who's in charge of the regulations of this building, enforcing them anyway, I told him, I said, where are the signs? He says, I don't have to post anything for you. And I said, well, can I at least see a copy? And the clerk, she was very nice. She said, here's the copy, sir. And as she was giving me the copy of the rules so I could read it, he says, nope. He ordered her not to give it to me. Does that make any sense? If you want me to understand a rule and know that a rule exists, you would let me see the rule. Okay, there's no rule. Okay, there is a rule. I'm not trying to be held in contempt of court, violate a judge's rule. I know I'm not going to get anywhere with that. Like I said, this is what I do. I promote transparency in government. That's all I'm asking for. I was asking questions. What services do you provide to the public? Just to see. That's it. If I would have seen a sign with a law or rule attached to it, I would have questioned the constitutionality of it, but that was something that I would do in a federal lawsuit. And again, the first time I was asked to leave, and I have it all on recording, the first time I was asked to leave, I started making my way towards the elevator. Because my objective here is not to get arrested and that's not what I want. To file lawsuits. People are like, oh, you just want to you want us to violate your rights so you can file a lawsuit. No, I don't. I don't want you to violate my rights, and I don't want to be arrested. I'm here to promote transparency.
Well, it sounds like there's some miscommunication.
Right. Sounds like somebody's lying, and that's why I record my interaction with law enforcement. Sir, you mind if I get your name and badge number?
Yeah. Name's Officer Lord. Badge number is 33.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, let's see what the guy cop has to say. You can see his confidence is a little higher.
Did you see the signs?
1 second, so I can talk to him.
You want me to talk over there and then?
Okay, yeah, no problem. No
Body
problem.
camera.
Yeah. Just to make it clear to everybody, there are no signs posted anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, ma'am, it's all recorded. So if they want to say that if they want to lie against me and say like, oh, we told them multiple times to leave. They told me multiple times to turn off the recording. It is not inherently illegal. I will admit that. They told me multiple times to turn off the recording, but it's not inherently illegal. And plus, if he's law enforcement, I have a right to film law enforcement. You know that. So he said he identified himself as law enforcement.
Film law enforcement. Well, I have no problem. That's why I'm letting you record me while we're outside. The issue is that, like I said, for all the city buildings, which this is attached to our city, the police department, and it's attached to the municipal building, which is the city offices, there's postage saying that you cannot record inside.
Right.
So,
but there's not anything posted here. You have to advise people by being posted.
That there's rules against the court that you don't have to have that posted. So he's printing off that information. We're going to get that information, and we'll go from there on what they want to do. But basically, there's a lot of government buildings that say you can't record, and they don't have to have postings inside or outside saying that.
Well, they do. Okay.
That's something that's just
fine. Like I said, I film in a lot of government buildings across the country, and you know, it's just for transparency, asking questions of my government, and you know, some of them say you can't. In the NYPD, they say you can't. I got a federal judge to say you can. Again, if it has to go that way, it has to go that way. I left when told to leave. The rule is not a statute that you can arrest me for. It's not a statute. It's not something it's not at least that I know of. I've never heard of this rule, but it's not a statute. You don't get charged with it.
Have like their own
right. But the judge is the ones that enforce it, not local law enforcement. The judge is the one that, it would be a contempt of court charge.
It would still be involved in this. Like, their concern is that they asked you to leave.
That's not true. It's not true.
And that didn't happen. So then, of course, they're going to call us.
That's not true.
I'm not quite sure how the rules go for like a courtroom. It sounds like you can record in public spaces, but in a courtroom or a courthouse, if a judge says no or something like that, then I guess his thing trumps the law inside of the courthouse. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
So am I being detained at this time? I just want to know. Okay.
I was going to speak about that, being detained. You know, First Amendment auditor is always like, you can't detain me because I haven't done anything. They had just called and said I did something. If the people call, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure if the people call and they say, hey, this person was on my property or something like that, right? The police can come and detain you. You know, the First Amendment auditor is going to be like, oh, I was never on there. But they have probable cause or whatever because somebody called and said that. Even though that if it was found out to not be true, you think the person who called and said that would be held accountable as lying a felony to the cops. They never are. They're just like, oh, okay, they just said that. So it's crazy how lying to the cops just goes out in the air unless the cops want to push it. And I never, ever hear of them pushing the issue with that. So, yeah.
Can I speak to a supervisor as well? That's all right. If there's one available.
91 to 83.
91 to 83.
Are you available to stop over here? He's requesting to speak with the supervisor.
He's like, yeah.
The differences between the court administrator and the clerk. All she said was, you can't record in here, sir. I understand. If you have any questions, I can answer you. I said, well, can I see the rules? She said, yeah, not a problem. She goes to get the rules, and in the meantime, while she's getting the rules so I can look at them and comply with the rules, if I don't want to, piss off a judge, it's not my intent. So I wanted to make sure they exist. Some people say things that aren't true, right? Some people say things that aren't true. They'll say, well, I've been in that scenario a lot of times. They'll say, you can't record in here. And I'll say, well, what's the law or the statute? And they'll be like, you just can't record in here. And then they call the police department. The police department says, well, actually, you can record in here. It's a public building. So if I just complied with anybody telling me something, I would never exercise my constitutional rights. Some people are ignorant and they say things that aren't true. Sometimes they are true. I just wanted verifiable fact.
People are ignorant sometimes.
I just wanted to, and the clerk was so nice about it. And she comes with the paper to hand it to me, and he's like, no, don't give it to him. Does that make any sense? If you want to enforce a rule, or if you're thinking that I'm breaking a rule, why wouldn't you want me here, sir? Here's the rule that you're breaking. Now, if you don't comply with breaking the rule, if you don't.
This lady's like, fuck, man, I get it. You don't have to keep telling me, Sean. But yeah, they're just going in circles. They just have to, right? Until they get somewhere. Whoever folds first.
Comply with our rule, then you're going to be in some sort of trouble or whatever.
No, I get it. That's why I asked the other officer.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Good, how are you?
My name is Sean. Do you mind if I get your name and badge number?
That's Sergeant McGuffin, number 83.
Sergeant, so the problem I'm having here is that, I walked inside, I am a First Amendment activist. I ask questions. I'm an independent journalist. I told you my name is Sean. I was just asking some questions of people inside A clerk came out. She was very nice. She said, "Sir, there's a local rule that you cannot record for the courthouse." And I said, "Okay, can I see the rule?" And she said, "Sure. Let me go get you a copy of it." So I waited where I was. And while she's there, a court administrator says, "Turn off your phone now." Starts freaking out on me, escalating the situation. And
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Where was your phone pointed? Was it in towards the windows where they have all the like paper?
Well, no, I was like far away. I didn't even go up to the windows. No, in the courtroom. No. And I asked her that.
You're at the windows.
No, not. I was in front. I was like, when you first walk in from the elevator. That's it. And I asked her. I said, "Can I see the rules? Because I've dealt with this before. Sometimes it says the courtroom. Sometimes it says different places. So I just want to clarify what it was. Sometimes people tell me you can't record, and they have no idea what they're talking about. So I just said, okay. And the cops and the police come, and they're like, well, he can record, right? So I just want to see the rules. So she said, yeah. She was very nice. She said, sure, no problem. Then Scott comes out, and he's like, "I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm telling you to stop recording." And I was like, "Can I see the rule?" He's like, "No, you're not going to see the rule." The administrator comes out, the clerk comes out, excuse me, and she says, "Here are the rules, sir." And I said, "Oh, okay, thank you." And he's like, "No, I don't give him the rules." There's nothing posted, sir. There's nothing that would make me understand or know that there is a rule other than somebody telling me, and they could be lying. It's not a law enforcement officer. It's not you. It's not somebody official. Some guy in a suit telling me
That's the clerk of court or the chief bailiff.
Right. But again, I had no idea. So he told me he's a court administrator. I think he's some sort of administrator. And at the end of the day, he's not a law enforcement officer. He can't effect arrests outside of the courthouse.
He signs warrants and all that.
Right.
So he is the chief bailiff.
Right. So all I was saying is that, and then once one of the bailiffs inside said, "All right, until we figure this out, leave. Until we figure this out." And I said, "All right, no problem. I'll leave. I'll wait for law enforcement." He said, "We called law enforcement." The bailiff says, "I don't want to violate your rights. Let's figure this out. Let's, we could look at the rule." Because sometimes rules have specific areas in the courthouses.
That would be my guess. My understanding would be not in a courtroom or anywhere that window.
Right.
There's a lot of sensitive information on the backside of that window.
Right. Well, going up to the window, I did not do. Again, I was looking at the window. I was looking at different things that are on the window. I didn't go past the window. I'm not trying. My intent is not. I identify. My name is Sean. I work with law enforcement across the country on First Amendment activism rights, on our rights.
And you still have yet to see those rules?
No, I've not seen the rules. And I've not, when the clerk
I've
came out.
still not seen the
to
rules.
give me the rules, he said, "Don't give it to him."
Don't give it to him.
Doesn't make any sense.
Don't give it
The
to
only other
him.
thing I think might be an issue is if you somehow are interfering with court proceedings or anything like that. Which,
I think I was just, that's it. I wasn't being, I was talking in the same level as I'm talking to you. I'm a very respectful person. I'm not trying to break the law. I'm not trying to, agitate anybody. I'm here to peacefully exercise my First Amendment right. That's all I'm doing. And if there's a rule, I just wanted to see it.
No,
it should be posted. I said it should be clear and conspicuously posted for the public to see. You can't just say, "Oh,
Concise.
there's a rule that, no hats allowed," but then there's no rule posted. Like, it needs to be clear and conspicuously posted. I've dealt with these kinds of rules before.
But I think that's more dress code for court appearances.
Right. And then I saw a sign on the courtroom door that says there is no electronic devices allowed in the courtroom. So again, everything I'm seeing is not telling me that I'm doing anything wrong.
From everything you told me, I don't see any laws, obviously, but court rules, if you're in violation of some sort of court rule, they would have to charge you with contempt, which is a judge.
Right. And that's what I was explaining.
That's exactly
what I was
what he said.
explaining to the officer here, that I'm not breaking any laws. If there's a rule, then sure, the judge can
It would
do
be a contempt of court.
Contempt of court.
On them,
Right.
It's not something we charge with.
Right.
So I can go inside, see where Officer Lohr is. And
again, you could take a look. There's no signs or anything. I think it's reasonable to ask. I'm not in a courtroom. I'm not filming anything confidential. I think it's reasonable to ask, can I see a copy of the rules? That's it.
No,
and
See, this sergeant seems very smart.
I think that's a pretty reasonable request, but the court administrator, Scott, he just didn't want to. He was letting his ego get the best of him. I deal with law enforcement all the time. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm just pro-rights. That's it, and pro-transparency. Hey, sir.
So this is the municipal code. This is all filed through the Ohio Supreme Court and is approved by them.
Okay.
And it's because of the size of our court. They said when you're going upstairs, there's a chance you could be filming victims of crimes and all that, which they have to protect the victims of crimes. Okay.
Well, couldn't you film victims? I understand what you're saying, and I no problem with it. I'm just saying you could film victims of crimes on the sidewalk walking into the court, right?
There's a higher chance that you're going to be videotaping a victim in that room than out here, I guess.
Right. Well, anybody that walks in could potentially be a victim. That's what I'm talking about. How would I know up there?
No, I'm saying, how would you know that they're actually going into the court?
Right. Oh, I mean, this is the courthouse, right?
Well, I mean, if they're just out here.
I'm saying I can film anybody. I'm just saying the reasonableness of it. You know, I understand. I'm just saying the reasonableness of me to, you know, that I can film everybody walking in, but once they're in, you can't film them anymore because I can film right here from the sidewalk, right? I'm just saying. Go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, sir.
In this, I mean, they said they don't normally have give it to you. They said that you can find all this online.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
House Supreme Court and all that. You can find the local law,
right?
Local codes and all that. Okay. So in this packet, Rule 9.04, video recording prohibited. The use of video recording or videotaping devices and the use of still photography devices inside the Prairie Municipal Court shall be prohibited.
Right.
Okay. So under that code right there,
The municipal court.
That's the reasoning for why you can't be up in there, okay? All this is approved and everything by the Ohio Supreme Court.
Right.
So it's coming down from them. It's not just...
And that's all I wanted to see was the actual... All I wanted to see was the
they
rule.
Said you can have this.
Okay, perfect.
And I have a sticky note.
I didn't want to have it. I don't need to have it.
For your concerns, I'm gonna go speak with them, see if they can maybe post that.
Right? Yeah. No. I don't even need to have it. I'll take it. But you know, I didn't want to keep it. I just wanted to see the actual rule because a lot of times people lie to me. They say, you know, you can't record in here, and then you know, it turns out I can. So I just wanted to see the rule, be advised of the rule. I'm not trying to get held in contempt of court by a judge. You know, I'm never gonna win that.
Contempt is said maybe like a disorderly because you'd have to be in front of the judge for it to be contempt. But
right.
Said,
but you could. There's such thing as indirect. And there's indirect contempt, and it's definitely, that's what he told me. He says, I said, sir, what would I be arrested for? He said, disorderly conduct. I'm like, it's not disorderly conduct. I was like, you know, it has to be some type of conduct that's actual disorderly. I know the statute. I mean, but again, I've worked with officers here in Ohio.
I'll go discuss that later.
It could be because he told you that there is a rule against you recording and you continue to record.
Right, but that's not in and of itself disorderly conduct. It's disorderly conduct is actual my conduct that would be disorderly, not just not listening to some random guy who says that there's a rule. You know, again, I like he said, like, he's the court administrator. Right. But to me, I didn't know who he was at first. He's like, I'm not telling you who I am. At the end, sure, but he came up to me very aggressively. And again, all I wanted to see was the rule. I didn't think it was a big deal to see the rule.
Well, now that we're done with that and you have the...
Am I being detained any longer?
No, but since you were in violation, are you able to just delete the video that when you were inside? You can keep the recording of when you were outside talking with us.
Well, no, unless I'm being forced to under threat of arrest or threat of contempt, I'm not going to. Just it's my right to record.
It's not your right.
Not. I mean, I think it was. There was nobody in there that was.
Yeah, I'll go speak with them again because of the victims being.
Holy shit, this is crazy. So he already recorded and they're telling him to delete the video. That's crazy, bro. This is a new one for me. I've never heard of that.
Right. Well, that's fine. I just want to know if I'm detained because I'd like to get out of here. I'm still detained.
She just said he wasn't.
Violation. They provided that.
Right. So what is sir? I just don't want to put down my phone. What does it say on there? The consequences of the violation. What does it say that the consequences would be?
What the consequences are. It just shows the rules.
Normally, in the rules, they'll say something along the line of.
You still maybe approved pursuant to municipal court, local code if you get approval through them.
So it doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Normally, it will say, you know, this is a violation of. Again, if it's. I just know it's not disorderly conduct. So that, I mean, if you want to arrest me for disorderly conduct, go ahead. That's an easy charge to beat because I didn't do it. I wasn't disorderly. He's cursing. He was cursing and screaming and raising his voice. I've been talking the same thing the whole time.
The issue is you have the recording where you're not supposed to be recording in.
But again, I did not know. I did not see a rule. No one showed me a rule. There's no rule posted conspicuously.
Showed you
now, right. And now I'm already out of the courthouse after you showed me.
You have the recording that was inside.
Yikes.
Right.
That's crazy.
It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You could just, you know, erase. Even if I'm arrested, you still can't go into my phone and erase it, right? You still can't. You need a warrant.
Well, we'll see if he wants to charge you that.
All right. I mean, I'm saying, even if you arrest me, it doesn't solve the problem of the recording. It's not going to get erased. Can't just go into people's phone and erase their footage. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm gonna be honest. I think both of those cops were kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, their first thought is like, yeah, we gotta have you erase it. But then once he started saying like, you can't go on my phone and this and that, they're probably like, fuck, I think I bit off more than I can chew with this. So
You tell me I'm detained, I'm staying right here. Tell me I'm under arrest, I'm not gonna fight you, I'm not gonna run.
I'm not gonna fight you, I'm not gonna run.
Alright, I just wanna make that clear.
He's probably gonna be like, just let him go.
Thank you, have a good day.
All right, fellow patriots, I wanted to highlight
That's exactly what
this
he
video
said.
this week's Throwback Thursday to highlight the power of court orders. While I strongly oppose any court order that restricts transparency in our government, the reality is there isn't any recourse. Now, I could file a lawsuit that would be heard by another judge, but do any of us really think that the judge would overrule this order? Not likely, especially an order that they justify as necessary for security of the court, instead of seeing it as the urgent need for transparency in our government that it is, especially transparency in the judicial process. Unlike government agencies nowadays, you and I, no matter how much we disagree with a court order, we can't just continually and intentionally violate them, or our freedom will be taken from us. The only recourse we have is to get our public servants to do their job. We need our local and federal representatives in Congress and state legislatures to pass statutes requiring transparency in courtrooms. Either way, the court administrator was completely out of line, and law enforcement wanting me to delete my footage is completely unlawful. Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section below. Please hit the like button and share this video anywhere you can on social media so it can be seen by as many people as possible. As always, stay safe, God bless. I'll see you in the next one. Long Island Audit. Peace.
Awesome, bro. Sean, that was a different one for sure, bro. Thanks for the video, man. Can't wait to watch it. You have 2 more out that are newer. I don't know if I'll watch them tomorrow because I got some other stuff I gotta do. But yeah, man, awesome. Love watching your videos, bro. I'm subbed, right? All right, cool. Sometimes I feel like I'm unsubbed or something. I don't know. But yeah, man, awesome video, bro. Support everything you do. I love how you argue with them. I like all that stuff, man. Cool, bro. Peace.